First of all, a big thank you. I mean, IIT Delhi hosting this. Thank you, Professor Bolia and Professor Rao. I think this is amazing. I think this event itself has got me very excited. So this is phenomenal, and thank you, Shri Ram Gupta ji, for helping organize this. There was a reference which Vedamji made about climate change, and I think Ishavasya Upanishad has a beautiful shlok which says, Ishavasya sarvam yat kincha jagatyan jagat ten tektena bhunjitha. Ten tektena bhunjitha ma gridha kasasiddhanam ten tektena bhunjitha. It doesn't say renounce. It doesn't say don't consume. Bhunjitha is ten tekten bhunjitha. Bhunjitha is to consume. So you consume with tyag. So you only consume what is necessary. And that itself is such a powerful message. And I'm so happy he mentioned that this is part of the motivation why we are sort of trying to look and dive deep into what our ancestors say. Whether it was very useful, and I think Professor Bolia made a reference in the beginning saying that there is one extreme which says that everything is found inside our wisdom. And the other extreme says, no, this is all irrelevant. My point is, let's have an open mind. And I think let's look at it. And first, even if to make a judgment, even if you want to say that it's all rubbish, I mean, and there's a thanks to, as he was referring to, a large history of education driven by different objectives than the objective of education. Even if you want to say that this is all not really relevant, at least understand it before making that claim, and that truly will be a scientific claim. And if you look at education, I mean, it's what is education? And anyone? I mean, what is the Indian word for education? Anyone? Shiksha, Vidya, right? So our systems did not say Vidya. It says there are two things. One is called Vidya, another one is Avidya. And what we are studying today is Avidya. And the shlok in Ishavasya Upanishad itself, it says, Vidyam cha avidyam cha yastad vedo bhayam saha tirtva vidya amrit mashnute. And again, I mean, it's so evolved in thinking. As I said, ten tyaktena bhunjitha. Don't renounce. I mean, you can't stop eating. You can't stop. You have to have food, and that has a carbon footprint. You have to have a piece of cloth on you, and that has to have a carbon. So use it wisely. Same thing here. It doesn't say just, okay, I will pursue Vidya. Vidya is what? Vidya is about the Parameshwar. I think it's all about, and in fact, if you so there are 4 types of Vidyas. So there's Anvikshiki, Trai, Varta, and Dandaniti. So I and Rajiv Kumar sir come from Dandaniti side of it. And Anvikshiki is probably what is Vidya. That's my understanding, and I think I will need to. Anvikshiki is probably the Vidya, and rest 3, in my little understanding, I don't understand much of it, is Avidya. And it says, अविद्या मृत्युम तीर्थवा. मृत्युलोक के लिए अविद्या जरूरी है. This, if you want to, तीर्थवा is to swim and or something. I think around that. So if you want to swim across this mrityulok, you need to have this avidya. So that avidya is Trai, Varta, or Dandaniti. So Trai is all. So Anvikshiki is essentially the real knowledge, which is Vedas and Smritis and Puranas. And Anvikshiki is, and Trai is how to do anushtans. So probably, I don't know, Shulb Sutra may probably fall in that category because it tells you how to, and it's amazing. Again, from pure mathematics perspective, to understand Shulb Sutra is amazing. And I had a opportunity to invite Professor C.K. Raju. I don't know if some of you have read his work, and particularly his book, A Cultural Foundation of Mathematics. I think it's an amazing work. And he claims that there was no one called Euclid. It is a fictitious character. And he argues logically. And there's a book. I mean, he gifted it to me. So and I have his, this Cultural Foundation of Mathematics is most probably out of print, but he was gracious enough to give it to me. And with his permission, I can give it to someone else who wants it as a soft copy or a hard copy. And he talks about how what Mr. Vedam was saying, Dr. Vedam was saying, that how this whole knowledge actually went from here till there. And I was recently trying to read Aryabhatiyam, and again, most of us are accidental. I mean, I don't even want to call Indologists, but I mean, whatever. Our interests got into this because, again, the same thing. My daughter, she just switched from CBSE to IB school. She studies in Chinmaya International Residential School in Coimbatore. I think it's the best school in this country. I mean, I would say that. And if any one of you are aware or have some friends or relatives whose children study there, I'm sure you will resonate with that. And she started. They have a subject called theory of knowledge, and she was finding it very intriguing. What is this theory of knowledge? And it's all about epistemology and ontology, and which came back to me home because I just finished my PhD and I was struggling with this epistemology and concept of ontology, and writing a paper and telling what is your epistemology and ontology, and I was like, these are so foreign words to me. And then I realized that, again, very late discovery, I have limited understanding of Indian systems. Nyaya is all about epistemology. And that's when I ordered my Nyaya book and started trying to read. And that's where I got this Anvikshiki Traivarta Dandaniti. We know so little. I know so little. And I'm a reasonably curious person. And those of you who are into PhD and publications, it's a club, right? So there's a club, and especially so in management. I don't know about technology so much because I haven't really, except for 1 or 2 papers in IEEE long time ago, I haven't really published anything in technology, but in management I do. And it's a club, and if you want to go into that club, you have to subscribe to that particular philosophy or way of writing or the paradigms. Correct? If you dare question that, you're out. And Vishnu Puran says, what is Vidya? Tat karma yanna bandhaya. It's a beautiful line, a very, very powerful line. Tat karma yanna bandhaya, sa vidya ya vimuktaye. And here we have clubs which restrict you. We had Navratri last week. So my wife, she fasted for first day and last day, and I also tried. So we invited these young girls we live in Ravin Nagar, sir. There are servant quarters. So of course the rich don't believe in sending their girls to other person's home and eat, at least not in that area where I live. So we invited all these servant quarter girls. They all came, all youngsters, from 5 years to 12-year age. We had lovely interaction with them. And then suddenly, I think I just started asking them, and I realized to my horror, most of them are studying in English medium schools. And I said, are you having difficulty? And they said, yes. And I said, in what subject? And they said, maths and physics and science. And I said, okay, come home next Sunday. I will try to see what can I do. And then it was on Friday, and then Sunday the whole gang turns up. And their struggle is not with the subject. Their struggle is with English. Sa vidyaya vimuktaye. That's the vidya is supposed to liberate you, not to bind you, not to encircle your ability and creativity. They understand what is a point, what is a line, but only thing is they have been taught scalene triangles, and how horrible and difficult. I mean, I studied till 12th in Hindi medium, and I can resonate with them that it is impossible for me to distinguish between scalene and isosceles triangle if somebody told me it's a Vishambahu Tribhuj and Sambahu Tribhuj, right? So I think this is such a important thing to thank God for the new education policy, and I think Sir had a role to play in that. It's emphasizing teaching in mother tongue, and so important, so critical, so crucial. I was just last couple of points. I was also asked to speak about technology, and I have worked in technology a little bit, understand a bit of it. There's all rage about generative AI, right? Anyone knows how it works? AI basically is a pattern recognition. And generative AI is no different. It's a pattern recognition. And so what it does is you give it feed a sentence to it. It tries to form it into a pattern and goes and all around the world, the entire internet or the entire available material to it, it will identify what all should follow this pattern. And then there is a mathematics, deep mathematics behind it, which says that these are probabilistically highest possible completions of this. And it does it word by word. It doesn't do it one go, but it's amazingly good. And two things. So the whole this NLP actually has been there since I was doing my BTech in IIT Kanpur. Dr. Sangal used to be the head of computer science doing NLP. 1988, I'm talking about, and earlier. And this whole thing actually came in place when there was a transformer model which came. And there was a very sort of pivotal paper written called, anyone knows? Mr. Vaswani wrote it. Attention is all you need. So that's that's like the Satoshi Nakamoto's version of generative AI, okay? And that paper, it basically says you take a sentence, take each word, do a vector encoding of each word, add it with context, which is called attention. So, and do a positional encoding of those vectors, and then you do your mathematical processing, and the results are amazing, which is true. And this is true for a language which is positional. What about language which is not positional? For example, Sanskrit. You will cut down half the computing cost. It's a wild idea I'm just throwing. 1 million tokens generated today cost about, I don't know, somewhere between $4 to $8 depending on. But what if you could just compute was reduced to half? So that's a thought. And finally, it was very important, again, the Aryabhati. So in Indian number systems, there are 3 which I know of. One is, of course, there must be many more, and Professor Subramaniam probably will correct me if I'm wrong. There's a Katpayadi system, there's a Bhoot Sankhya system, and then there's a Aryabhatiya system. And Aryabhatiya system is so amazing. That's like probably the most concise way of representing numbers. So it says varge vargakshārani, avarge avargakshārani, kātangamo yaha, khadvinavke swaranav, varge avarge navante varge va. So it just says that you write all these You're from ka 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 anga cha 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 ya ta 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 pa 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 ma. These are varga akshars. You put them in a nice box, and then you have avarga akshar, which is yara lava shaka sa chatra gya. Then you have 9 vowels, khadvi navke swara nav. So all 9 of them you put together, which includes, of course, the Sanskrit vowels of ri and ri. And then by placing them, and the vowels are organized in 10 to the powers. So you have a vowel placed with avarga akshar, it becomes 10 to the power odd numbers. And if it is in varga akshar, then obviously it's 10 to the power even numbers. So 10 to the power 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And a number like, which is 43 lakhs 20,000, that's a number of years in a yuga, I believe, Mahayuga. 43 lakhs 20,000 can be represented in 3 letters called Kyugr. So Kyugr is 43 lakh 20,000. And then, of course, he goes on using these numbers, writing them in the shlok to give the distance of Earth from Sun, from Moon, radius of Earth, radius of suns. And it's amazing and mind-boggling. I mean, there was a reference to Ptolemy, and I was reading, last point, it's very important to find the guru, as we are always said. So even while reading a book, it's important to pick up the right guru. And I picked up from Professor K.S. Shukla's book on, K.S. Sharma's book on Aryabhati, and I think that's probably the best. You will find millions of translations of Aryabhati and millions of translations of every Hindu text. It's extremely important to pick up the right thing. So that's all I wanted to share. It's a great